Welcome to America's Heroes Group.
Okay, good afternoon, folks in America. Welcome to America's Heroes Group Roundtable with our partner, Veteran Legislative Voice. Today, November, folks, is Military Family Appreciation Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month. Today is September. Today is Saturday, November the 12th, 2022, and it's the day after Veterans Day. This is our Veterans Day weekend. The host is Cliff Kelley, and I am the guest host, co-host, Ernesto Borges. I'm a Vietnam veteran and an attorney at law. Our executive producer is Glenda Smith. Our digital media producer is Ivan Ortega of Scouts Honor Productions. And we've got our partner on the line, Stephanie Kalota, and she is a U.S. Army Reserve Sergeant First Class, veteran, and creator of Veteran Legislative Voice. And we're going to be talking about a number of things today. So, Stephanie, are you on the line? Stephanie?
Yes, I'm.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'm here, and you got my last name right. Congratulations.
Yes, okay, well, great. Well, we're going to be talking about black veterans, and they were excluded from the G.I Bill. Congress, can Congress do something to fix that? And of course, what is the G.I Bill? I guess that was enacted in 1944 after, I guess it was during World War II, because the war wasn't over yet in 44.
So, Stephanie, tell us, what is the G.I. Bill of 1944 to get started?
Yes, and so it's actually the Servicemen's Readjustment Act in 1944. It actually was signed into law only a couple of days after the invasion of Normandy in 1944. So it was really crazy at that time frame. But they had realized all of the veterans, all the military are going to be doing all of these great things for wartime, and then they are going to need benefits when they get back. And so this is when veterans were able to get the VA loans for their homes and the education benefits. Those things really became really big. They wanted to make sure that there wasn't any post-war depression. And they had nearly 2.3 million veterans participate in this program. Just in the Korean War era alone, more than 8 million during Vietnam era. And let's see, where's the other number? $14.5 billion were used for veterans for the education benefits.
For which period? For all three wars? Or four wars?
By 1956.
By 1956. Oh, okay.
Yes.
So that's great, because I used the GI Bill, of course, to finish college and go to law school, actually. But blacks was that GI Bill? Were blacks able to take advantage of that GI Bill the same way that some of the white veterans were, or was there discrimination in that also?
Yes, there was a lot of discrimination. The law did not outright exclude black veterans, but a lot of the places that you have to go get you got to file your VA loan, you got to file for benefits for your education, you have to go to a VA office. The majority of those people that worked there were white. Very few black veterans were actually able to do that. The other issue that black veterans had an issue with is that they're more likely to be dishonorably discharged. If you're discharged dishonorably, you can't access these benefits. And 39% of all black soldiers were dishonorably discharged in comparison to white soldiers, which was 21%.
Really? This is after World War II?
Yes, sir.
During the World War era? 39%?
39% were discharged dishonorably. And it's really frustrating, because that was also, where they had the battle fatigue and combat fatigue and not a great understanding of PTSD. And they found that majority of those people that were dishonorably discharged, now they attribute it to their PTSD. So a lot of veterans that had been dishonorably discharged for Vietnam War, and I know for any of the wars after that, they have been getting their discharge category changed, upgraded. Yes. Yeah.
They should.
Because, we've got a lot of discharges. You got medical discharges, general discharge, bad conduct discharges, and, of course, dishonorable is the worst of the lot. I did not know that. That's a staggering number of people, 39%. So they were ineligible to buy homes, to get loans. A lot of people bought homes with the GI Bill.
Yeah, and so it was. It's pretty interesting. So the guaranteed GI Bill had for the VA loans had the low interest mortgages, and it did not guarantee that financial institutions would accept these loans and mortgages to Black veterans. In 13 Mississippi cities during 1947, only 2 out of 3,200 VA loans belonged to Black veterans.
32 out of how many?
2 out of 3,200 VA loans during 1947. Just for that pool alone is staggering, because the Black population in Mississippi is much greater. I know currently 58% of Mississippi are Black. So I can only imagine what the numbers were back then. So it's really staggering. The northern states weren't any better. Only 100 out of 67,000 VA loans were to non-white veterans in New York and New Jersey. Only 100. And it was pretty crazy. And the thing is that they had issues with getting homes, nicer homes in suburban areas as well. And so that was a big frustration that they had. After World War II, many colleges and universities were overwhelmed by the number of veterans utilizing the GI Bill. It was required that these benefits were approved at a local VA office, which caused problems for Black veterans. The VA benefits counselors denied African Americans access to educational benefits at certain universities and funneled applicants into industrial and vocational schools rather than higher education opportunities. Only about 6% of African American World War II veterans actually earned a college degree, compared to 19% of white veterans.
Where can we find this information? I mean, you're giving us some great information. Is there somewhere we can? Do you have a website or somewhere? This is staggering.
You can actually Google it. There's been a lot of really great news articles. NPR did a good special on it. There is the Black Veterans Project that does a lot of research as well. They try to focus on capturing all of the history and narrative for all Black veterans, and they do a lot of work and research on this. I listened to one of their people the other day, a couple of weeks ago, with the Minority Veterans of America. They did their own big exhibition annual event, and they talked about these type of things too, and it was really amazing.
This is unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
There's this reparations movement, but certainly there should be some reparations for these veterans and their families who were unable to take advantage of the GI Bill. And now the people who worked in these offices, the veterans' offices, are these are civilians primarily, or are they military? The people who denied
they're government civilians, and many people that do work for the VA back then and also currently are also veterans, because they have a veterans preference hiring preference to that. So you get extra points on the configuration that they make when they evaluate, your resume, your experience, and everything. You get extra points on the formula that they have. So you have a higher likelihood to get to make the final list.
Right. Now, that was the GI Bill. Are there other benefits that blacks or non-whites are being deprived of?
It's a good question. I didn't do much study on that, but what I do want to talk about though is actually there is a congressional bill that was introduced. It's called the Sergeant Isaac Woodard Jr. and Sergeant Joseph Maddox GI Bill Restoration Act of 2021. It's great to try to highlight this bill because congressional session will close at the end, actually in the beginning of January, because, we just had the midterm elections. So all of the bills that haven't been passed turn into pumpkins by the beginning of January when the new crop is sworn in.
Right.
So it's really important to try to get this bill passed, because what it does is that it extends these benefits to specifically Black veterans of World War II, it also includes their surviving spouses and certain direct descendants, like their grandchildren, would be eligible to certain housing loans and educational assistance administered by the VA, just like it should have been years later or years earlier.
Which means this bill could directly affect the HBCUs.
Yep.
And descendants of military family members to get education there, which means they can use the GI Bill that they didn't get if this act passes. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Now, who sponsored this, and is this?
And what is the
this
status?
Is this in the House? Is it in the Senate? Or who initiated this bill? Do you know?
I do know one of the person that put it in sponsors was Senator Moulton. He's a Democrat, I believe, from Massachusetts. And there is a House bill because they're identical companion bills. The other one was, I believe, from Representative Claiborne from South Carolina. Mm-hmm. He's the majority whip right now.
Right.
Majority is most of those two bills have only been introduced, and they need to be basically blessed off in the committees and then released to a vote. So I really encourage anyone to please call your congresspeople, call the members of the VA committee. You can actually Google House VA committee, and you can do that for the Senate VA committee, and all of the names are right there. You can actually get the phone number for the chairmen of these committees because they'll answer to any constituent that's concerned about these type of issues. You do not have to be a constituent to these people. You can call them and say, I want you guys to bring it to a vote. Mm-hmm. We need to get this passed now. Mm-hmm. And so that way these people can get their benefits, and it would just be so much better. And we already know with everything that's going on with the midterms, it might get a lot harder to get it passed in the next congressional session.
Let me ask you this: which committee is this, and do we know who's on the committee? It's got a House committee and a Senate committee, and you're saying that we don't have any co-sponsors, Durkin or Tammy Duckworth.
I can look that up right now.
Not Durkin, but Durbin. And Tammy Duckworth, or our Congress people that we have, Danny Davis, Bobby Rush, Robin Kelley.
Bobby Rush wouldn't be because Jonathan Jackson have not been elected to his seat.
Well, he's not. He hasn't been. I mean, Jonathan is going to take over his seat, but
right.
But this is a 21 bill. What happened all this time?
Well, the thing is that congressional sessions are for this one in particular is from 2021 to 2022. So they still have a chance to vote and pass for bills until 2023, beginning of January. I believe it's usually around January 5th, 6th, around that time frame is the last dead drop dates that you can actually have for these bills. Mm-hmm. A big person to contact would be Representative Mark Takano. He's the chairman of the House Committee of Veterans Affairs. Mm-hmm. Fantastic person. I've met him before, and he's really great for veterans.
Can you
He's
spell
from
his
California.
Name? Spell his name for us.
Takano, Takano. And if you guys do look these people up and you give them a call, just understand that you're going to be speaking to an intern most likely. Mm-hmm. So be very gentle with them and ask to see if you can speak to somebody that does the military liaison or the VA veterans liaison. So then you can tell them that you guys need this bill to pass.
And who in the Senate? Who in the Senate? Is it Senate Veterans Affairs?
I believe
Committee?
It's Senator John Tester, and I'm going to double check. And he is from Montana.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great guy. Mm-hmm. Very great guy. And so those guys and their people are used to hearing from people that are not from their actual constituent base. They want to make sure that they can get all of. I was correct. It is Senator John Tester from Montana.
Okay, so Steph, let's you and I work together in contacting the main people. I'm not trying to deal with gatekeepers, and let's speak with the main people to see if we can get them on America's Heroes Group radio talk show to see how we can help, since we're in 8 major cities, 740 cities. 70,000 downloads per week on a podcast in 50 countries. So let's see how we can get this activated and get this done. Because what I am tired of over the past 6 years that America's Heroes Group has been broadcasting are elected officials, local, city, state, and federal talking this BS to get reelected or elected, and then they disappear.
Yeah,
and you can't find them in daytime with a flashlight. That is over.
Yep, and this stuff just gets introduced and they don't get moved. The other thing about this bill that is so great, it requires the GAO to actually do the analysis so then they can study who gets benefited from this bill, who else needs to be included, those type of things. This bill would also create a panel that would be on benefits and assistance that would focus on minority veterans, female veterans, Black veterans, Latino veterans, LGBTQ veterans, so then they can see who is not being able to access their benefits.
And who's been denied and who's not participating. That's what we need to now do. We're going to have to call them out, city, state, or state, because this right now is federal. So state and federal. If you're not doing it, we're going to report it. If you are doing it, we're going to report it. So that's what it has to start, and that's what it has to keep going, because they're going to answer to numbers. They could care less about anything else. They care about numbers.
Well, a lot of them just got elected, reelected. But because my brother is good friends with Testa from Montana. He said he's a great guy. My brother worked for the VA for 19 years. But this needs to be out of committee.
Absolutely.
It's got to come out of the Senate committee. It's got to come out of the House committee. Then they have differences, and then they get together, and then they iron out their differences, and then they send it to the floor, and then the president could sign it if it passes both Senate and the House. But who were these guys, Maddox and Woodard? Were they guys back in the day, or are they? Yes. So they're all they were denied. These guys were denied benefits.
Well, actually, here, let me check it. Actually, Sergeant Maddox was, despite he was accepted to get the master's degree at Harvard, but he was denied his benefits at the local VA office. You know how hard it is, even for a Black person to also be accepted into Harvard back then for a master's degree, and he was denied. And then Sergeant Woodard was assaulted by a police chief when he returned from war, and then this became a big hot topic back then because the all-white jury decided to acquit his attacker.
These are World War II vets, these two guys?
Yes, both of them.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to get on that.
Yes, and then so the House bill, it's H.R. 5905, and the Senate bill is 3210.
Repeat that, Steph. H.R. what now? House bill?
House bill 5905, and the Senate bill is 3210.
Okay.
Yep, and so these bills are great to at least have them on hand when you call your congresspeople, because you can just say, the bill for the Black veterans. They're most likely going to remember which one this is and look it up. But these bills really do save time for the people that you would be working with. I misspoke on who sponsored the House bill. I said Senator Moulton. I had given him a promotion. He's actually a representative. My mistake, but he is from Massachusetts. And then Senator Raphael Warnock actually had introduced the Senate bill.
Oh.
Yes.
So it wasn't Testa. It was Warnock.
No, it wasn't Tester, but Tester is the gatekeeper to get these got brought to a vote and brought out. There hasn't been any cost estimates attached to these bills, so I'm hoping that that won't be an issue as well. So, because to me, the funding should still be there and should still be enough for everybody to get what they need. And in this type of financial climate, this is really needed with the inflation, with the housing costs. These type of things would really give these people a step up to what they should have done decades ago.
Yeah, and this is universal, because I'm not trying to hear the red. I'm not trying to hear the blue. I'm trying to hear the united, because when veterans went off to fight and left loved ones sacrificed, some of them did not come home. So I'm not trying to hear the politics of this. We need to get this done so that their children know that their service wasn't in vain.
Yes.
For
yes,
the present veterans, their children also deserve a right to be educated if they choose to be through the G.I. Bill.
Yes. And
Period.
there's so many.
And this is another reason why we need to get Senator Warnock elected in Georgia, because he's going to be in a runoff election now with Herschel Walker. And if Herschel wins, this thing is dead in the Senate right now. So another reason to vote for Warnock.
Well, hold on, because we're a 501c3. I could care less about who gets elected. I want to know what you're going to do for veterans. Who will best serve veterans across these
Warnock
50
is a sponsor
states?
of the bill. That's what I'm saying. He's a sponsor of the bill.
So let's get him. Let's get him on America's Heroes Group to hear who will best serve veterans out of Georgia and why. You need to be elected. That's what I care about. Anything else, you can keep it.
Right.
Yes. Pass the bills. We don't care who you are.
Exactly.
And what color you are.
Exactly.
Pass the bills.
The flag is red, white, and blue for a reason. That battlefield is one.
Yes.
As Obama
Most
said,
definitely.
we are a United States.
Yes.
It should be that way. In a house divided, cannot stand.
Yes.
So anyway, thanks for. Are we at the end of the show yet, or do we have a little time left?
You're ready to close out. So, Steph, what are
Stephanie?
your thoughts about Veterans Day yesterday? What did you do? I mean, what are your thoughts?
It's a mixed bag for me because I do like going out and celebrating it, and then when you try to do the benefits, it kind of gets overrun with a whole lot of veterans and it's busy restaurants and places. So it's an interesting mixed results. And I'm actually down in Orlando right now for a Food and Wine Festival at Epcot and enjoying my time with my family, which is awesome. And so it's been pretty good. I do want to let everybody know Veterans Legislative Voice is on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Bravo.
VETS, legislativevoice.org. A lot of information on how to contact your Congress people, what to say when you contact them. You can Google and look up these bills. I do post on these bills on a lot of different social medias. If you guys have questions, reach out through these social medias. I'm very responsive and love to help with anybody that wants to get these things passed.
Well, America's Heroes Group is so proud to have you as a partner. And
Thank you.
Your show is very informative, it's very substantive, and it's very accurate. So we are so appreciative of you being a part of this organization and helping us do what we do. Connect the disconnected, veterans, military, active members to information that they thought they have and didn't know for sure. You have it now through America's Heroes Group. So, Stephanie, you are the best.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thanks for joining us.